Hi there, folks. Mark Pond here with the Spokane Public Library and also Startup Spokane, and wanted to run you through a couple of features of Data Axle. And Data Axle is our primary business directory, so it has a number of different applications, from developing sales lead lists to doing some competitive analysis, trying to figure out who else is out there that might be doing something similar. So the primary way to come at this type of business-focused search is that there are several different modules that we subscribe to, but specifically if you're trying to track down other businesses, either to sell to them or, like I said, to kind of do that competitive analysis piece. If we go to this US business side of the database here, and then from here, if there's a particular company that you're interested in, you can put that in, but generally speaking, the way to go in terms of developing lists is go to that advanced search, and then from there you can throw as many or as few of these filters that run down the left hand side of the page at the search as you might want, and it does cover the entire US. You can also set up your geographic region however you want. You can pull up a Google map and draw in your own custom boundaries if you want. You could do a drive route search from point A to point B. But just for the sake of this example, we'll keep it pretty simple here. And we'll just look here at Spokane County. But know that you can add multiple regions into the same search. So if you also wanted to throw in Kootenai County, if you're heading over across the border into Idaho, you can do that. You can add some zip code from Boston, should you want to do that. But then from there, the other primary filter here that does tend to get used pretty heavily is this business type, and this keyword SIC code or NAICS code, that tends to work pretty well for a really specific line of business. So if you're just looking for all of your restaurants or plumbers or florists or whatever it is, that's a good approach there. But often being able to play around with this business type, and if we come here under this major industry group, this allows us to capture big swaths of the economy all at once. So if you're interested in getting a list of who are all of the construction firms here in Spokane and Kootenai County, we can just grab that with one click of the button, or you can drill in and say, oh, right, yeah, okay, the folks, the companies out there that are building bridges and highways and roads, that isn't necessarily what you had in mind. So you can kind of slice and dice that in any number of different ways. But then when we run that search, then we got our list of 3,050 Spokane and Kootenai County businesses that are involved in construction in one form or another. So these lists, you can download them, you can dump them into a spreadsheet, and they're yours to keep and play around with. I'll put together a separate tutorial quickly walking you through the process of how to go through that download approach there. But a couple of things just to call out here in terms of caveats with these lists, just to make you aware of. So one, and kind of the primary one, is that Data Axle, their primary way of pulling these lists together is that they're scraping the incorporation filings from the secretaries of state around the nation. So if it's a business that has incorporated or formed an LLC, or generally speaking nonprofits also should be showing up here, but basically entities that have some sort of presence with the Secretary of State, then that information is publicly available. So that means that if a business doesn't incorporate, if they just stay a sole proprietor or just a general partnership or something along those lines, they tend to fall under the radars of Data Axle. So just know that that can be a big gaping hole out there in terms of what's available. The other primary cautionary bit here is that we could have sifted and sorted by the sales volume data. I don't rely on that at all. It's really just a shot in the dark. So I would just say ignore the fact that it's even there, as it can vary wildly in either direction from what's actually happening on the ground. The last piece is these contact listings here. That is pretty solid, especially for business owners, because business owners tend to stay put. But say if Matthew, if he's the VP of sales at First Choice Welding, and he takes a new job with River City Plumbing, just know that Data-Axle can have a really hard time keeping up with those personnel moves. So that's kind of the snapshot, though. From there are a couple of other filters that I think are worth calling out here. Specifically, this number of employees, that tends to be a little bit more based in reality than the sales volume stuff, but still also to know that that's a moving target and can have quite a wide range of accuracy. But one other piece here that does often get used is this headquarters/branch. That allows us to say, all right, let's look for construction companies that are either just headquartered here in Spokane and Kootenai County or just a single location. So that, when we run that search, it drops several hundred out that are headquartered elsewhere, but they just happen to have a branch or subsidiary somewhere here locally. So that's another search feature that tends to get used pretty heavily. So there you have it. There's the really quick snapshot of how to do a business search within Data-Axle.